We're putting homemade toffee into a rich and chewy brown butter cookie. The internet famous saltine toffee gets crumbled up to give this cookie a combination of sweet and salty with a little bit of crunch. Hey there, I'm Molly Thompson from What Molly Made. Welcome back to my kitchen where we make good food that makes you feel good too. Today we are making salted toffee cookies. We're building layers of flavor from the homemade toffee and the brown butter. Give yourself plenty of time because these cookies need to chill. Let's start by making the homemade saltine cracker toffee, also known as Christmas crack. You need 4 ingredients for this: saltine crackers, butter, brown sugar, and chocolate chips. Line a 9 by 13 inch baking dish with parchment paper. You can also use a large cookie sheet like us if you want to double the recipe and have extra toffee to fill your cookie boxes. Line the bottom of the pan with saltine crackers. Slice a half a cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter into chunks, then add it to a medium saucepan with a half a cup of light brown sugar. Double this to 1 cup each if you're using a sheet pan. Melt the butter and brown sugar over medium-high heat, stirring occasionally until the mixture comes to a boil. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down to medium and continue to boil for 4 to 5 minutes without stirring. When it's done, remove it from the heat and carefully pour the caramel mixture over the cracker layer. Spread it out evenly with a wooden spoon or a rubber spatula to cover all of the crackers. Bake it at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 to 5 minutes until it's just bubbling. Remove the pan from the oven and sprinkle on 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips, or 12 ounces if you're doubling, which is an entire standard bag. Let the chocolate sit for a few minutes to melt and soften, then use a rubber spatula to spread the chocolate over the caramel in an even layer. Allow it to cool slightly, then place the entire sheet pan in the freezer to set while you make the cookie dough. The next step in this recipe is to brown the butter. Slice 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter into even slices. This helps it melt and cook evenly. Add it to a medium saucepan over medium heat. We use the same saucepan as the caramel and the toffee. Swirl the butter around to melt it and continue to stir constantly for 5 minutes. The butter will begin to bubble and foam and you'll start to see the milk solids separate. As you continue to cook and stir, some of the bubbles will subside around the 5-minute mark and you'll see the milk solids start to toast and turn a golden brown color. It should smell buttery and nutty. When you see this, quickly remove it from the heat and allow it to cool slightly for about 10 minutes. While the brown butter is cooling, let's whisk together the dry ingredients. Use the spoon and level method to measure out 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour and add it to a large mixing bowl with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We aren't using any salt in this recipe because the saltine toffee contains enough salt as it is. Set this aside to mix the wet ingredients. When the brown butter is slightly cooled, add 1 cup of packed light brown sugar and 1/3 a cup of granulated sugar to the saucepan and whisk to combine. Whisk in 2 eggs and vanilla until no yellow streaks remain. It's important to let the brown butter cool slightly before this step so the warm butter doesn't cook the eggs. Pour these wet ingredients into the flour mixture and stir with the rubber spatula until combined. It will be dry at first, then start to come together, and it will be somewhat wet and crumbly. The dough will be somewhat warm to the touch at this point because of the brown butter, so transfer the dough to the freezer for a few minutes to cool while you break up the toffee pieces. This ensures the chocolate from the toffee won't melt in the warm dough when you try to mix it in. Grab the toffee from the freezer and use a sharp knife to carefully break it up into small pieces. Using your hands to break it up will melt the chocolate, so I recommend a knife for this step. Measure out about 2 cups of the toffee and reserve some to top the cookies at the end. Add the chopped toffee to the dough from the freezer and use a rubber spatula to stir it well and distribute the toffee into the dough. Cover the dough with plastic wrap and chill for at least 2 hours or up to 3 days. Chilling the dough is essential to prevent cookies from spreading, so do not skip this step. When you're ready to bake, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and line a few baking sheets with parchment paper. If it's been longer than 12 hours, let the dough sit out and soften slightly to make it easier to scoop. Scoop the dough into 2 tablespoon-sized balls and place them on a cookie sheet a few inches apart. We like to roll our cookie dough into more of tall cone shapes rather than an even ball because it results in a taller, thicker cookie. Bake in the preheated oven for 8 to 10 minutes until the edges are golden brown and the top is just set. Top them with reserved toffee right when they come out of the oven and allow them to cool on the baking sheet for 5 minutes before transferring them to a wire rack to cool completely. The rich caramel in the toffee and the brown butter gives these cookies the most unique flavor. If you love this recipe and you want to try a few more of our Christmas cookie recipes, check out our cookies playlist.